Welcome, everybody. I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Wildomar Planning Commission at 6 p.m., May 6, 2026. May I please have a roll call?
Commissioner Canberra.
Present.
Commissioner Filar.
Here.
Commissioner Hume.
Here.
Vice Chair Golden.
Here.
Chair King.
Here. Moving on to the flag salute. Vice Chair Golden, would you care to lead us?
Please stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please have a seat.
Thank you, Vice Chair Golden. We will now move on to public comment. This is the time when the Commission receives general public comments regarding any items or matters within the jurisdiction of this Commission that do not appear on the agenda. Do we have any public comments?
We have Ann Keegans, and she's got donated time.
Hello, Council. Well, I'm back again. I'm not going to let this rest. I want to talk about the completely overreaching and targeting a specific demographic group of equestrians regarding the animal setbacks for livestock 17.205.030-1. 100 feet from any street, 20 feet from any property, 50 feet from any residence, includes my own. How do we get these setbacks removed? How many horse owners participated in the meetings, workshops? How many concerns were raised about the setbacks making horse keeping on rural property impossible? Half-acre and 1-acre properties with horses are all now in code violation regarding setbacks. How many rural landowners knew about the profound negative effect these setbacks created for rural property use rights? Did anyone at the city level question why no equestrians showed up at these meetings, workshops? I can guarantee that the outrage at last month's meeting would pale in comparison to these new revelations if we had known. There are whole neighborhoods that can be visited to see in person the ramifications these setbacks have done. Not only my own neighborhood, which are 2-acre and below, the entire neighborhood of half-acre to 1 acres between Grand Palomar, north of Wildomar Trail, all the way to Corridon. About every month or so, a mail offer for my little 2 acres comes in the mail. I usually send it back with a counter offer of $10 million, and that shuts them down for a little while. But not too long ago, it was a phone call. The guy seemed nice, so I asked him what he would do with my little 2 acres. Build an estate home to keep with the existing neighborhood and current zoning. He said he would get the zoning changed, not too hard to do, and put 4 to an acre, all with multiple ADUs, and make a lot of money. With the setbacks that were put into place December 24 or 25, or January 25, I can't figure out which, without most of the rural equestrian property owners' knowledge, it seems that Wildomar is making it virtually impossible for rural landowners to have livestock on their property, which is the main reason most of us bought and continue to live here. I think it is only proper that rural landowners receive individual notices titled Important Issues Regarding Your Rural Property Use Rights. Notices should be posted on social media, feed stores, we have 3, and veterinary offices. The outdated mode of rat-type legalese in a newspaper is completely obsolete. Very few people even receive newspapers anymore. I do receive the city's monthly email notice of meetings. However, I don't want to have to download 400 pages to see what has been slipped in. I must download even to see the agenda, and I can't just view. Again, the email should have bold type heading, Important Issues Regarding Your Rural Properties. I equate what happened to Wildomar's rural property owners and equestrians as the same as if track homes that have swimming pools and buried in a 400-page document is new development code rules that say, due to California's ongoing decades-long drought and water shortages, you can no longer have water in your swimming pool. The way rural property owners are being singled out and treated as a blight in our community, is that the grand plan for Wildomar to run out rural property owners and replace us with high-density, low-income halfway houses? That's what it feels to us equestrians. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Next public comment is Jera, and she's got donated time from George Canberra.
Hello again. Sorry, my voice is a little scratchy. I'm not really sure where to start. I did a lot of rambling last night to try and get my thoughts in order. So I'll start with shortly after I got home from work yesterday, I was trying to take a shower and get ready to go see Michael again. And while I was doing that, my dogs were going absolutely crazy. So I figured, okay, I guess I better dry off, get out there and see what's going on, because they're not going to bark like that for no reason. And I was met with an animal control officer and multiple code enforcement officers. And while I will admit there's some junk in my front yard that should not be there, I'm aware of that. I'm trying to gather it up to eventually take it to the dump. That wasn't the best choice of where to put it. It wasn't my choice, but it's there and it is my responsibility. Okay. Other than that, I thought I was fine. However, I am now being told that my vacant lot, as they're calling it, adjacent to my property, cannot be used or touched, basically not even looked at, because it doesn't have a house on it. I purchased that home with the entire thing fenced off together. I looked into what I could and could not do there, and part of why I purchased that was because I could have some livestock there. At that time, Sedco Hills had donkeys and horses all over the place on those smaller lots, okay? But they were allowed. And so, or at least to the best of my knowledge, they were, and I didn't find out different. Really, I mean, there were a couple times when I, again, had junk out there trying to pile it up for the trash because, well, I have a lot of junk I get rid of. Anyway, the point is, they're now telling me that I cannot use that lot because it's classified as a vacant lot. I have been using it like part of my yard for 24 years, and it has been part of the yard along with the lot my mobile home sits on for at least 50 years, since the home was put there. All of a sudden, I'm told I can't use it. Well, guess what? If I can't use it, I can't have my donkeys. So now, I'm being told I have to get rid of my donkeys because they can't be on that lot because it's a vacant lot. Now, on top of that, I do rescue dogs occasionally, and at any given time, I've been allowed up to 8 previously. I'm now told that I cannot have that many dogs because there's no house on the other property. The very people that gave me licenses for more than 4 dogs at one point, one of them was standing there with the code enforcement telling me, no, you can't do that. And so I'm also charged with getting rid of 3 dogs. Now, on top of that, I'm not even allowed to let my dogs walk over there on that side. It was even suggested that I put a fence up between my 2 properties so that it wouldn't, I wouldn't be encroaching on my own property. And so he showed me, I asked him to show me where it said that I couldn't use my own vacant lot next to my own other lot. And he showed me some stuff that, well, you can't do this and you can't do that and you need permits. But it doesn't say anything about being able to use a lot that's adjacent to my own lot where I live as part of my yard. I did look up, what the particulars were, and it was the same thing he showed me basically, but it did not specifically spell out my particular case. And what I did find is it says, yes, you can generally use adjacent vacant lot as part of your yard, but you must comply with the City of Wildomar's zoning ordinances, blah, blah, blah. You know what that all is. You guys are the... Yeah. Anyway, big long list. And it says, it then goes on to state that they suggest merging the lots, not because of a law or an ordinance, but because it's better for you to have one tax bill instead of two. I've had 2 tax bills for 24 years, and I'm okay with 2 tax bills. Oddly, one's under Proposition 8 and one's under Proposition 13, which basically makes no sense to me. I wish someone would explain that to me. So, yeah. On top of that, donkeys are extremely vulnerable to flies. And I have been battling fly irritation on my donkey's legs for a couple months now, ever since we had that that unseasonal hot spell. I have done and tried everything I can. They said, the animal control said that I had to get them to a vet or I would face serious charges. Well, I have done that. I've made an appointment with the vet and they're being seen on Saturday. And I don't mind that. I mean, the vet's going to tell me and write down the same thing I told them. I've been doing this for 50 years. The point is, I'd like answers as to why all of a sudden this is an issue. Because I spoke at the last meeting and I gave my name and information and I said to people, I give it 2 to 3 weeks before they show up at my house. Yesterday was 1 day short of 3 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Thanks, Jen.
Next speaker is Gina Castanon.
I wanted to speak on 3.5, the training part. So you want me to do it in public comment?
You can.
There's an additional 3 minutes in case I go over. Thank you. Hi, good evening, Planning Commission, members of the audience. This is where I like to say, my name is Gina Castanon, and I've lived in Wildomar for over 40 years. My husband, over 50 years, and I was on the incorporation committee that made Wildomar a city. I've been doing planning for 30 years, since we were ever a city, when we were still a county. And I have followed it up to the general plan, and until 21, I kind of basically fell out. But now that I understand that you guys are a new commission, I saw the little bit of a frustration, in the last meeting. It's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to learn. And so I wanted to give you my take, and I want to invoke point of order, because I want to make it clear I don't know about the training. I know you guys get particular training, but I've been in enough planning commission meetings to know that when a developer comes in for commercial or residential and they're deep into it, they got lots of money, and most of commission really don't like the project, but then somehow like the gas station, the diesel gas station on Wildomar Trails that was approved, and he's got one on Bundy Canyon, and he's got one here, and no one liked it. There was a lot of speakers that night that wanted it denied, but staff, and not this staff here, there's been a lot of staff that's been here for lots of years, but there's been turnovers, but year after year, I always hear the comment from staff saying, oh, well, they're really deep into it. They've got a lot of money into it, and you can't deny the project. That's part of development. They know when they come into a city that they have a chance of having to pay fees and having to pay staff and going through the process and still be denied, right? At any point. Even through what you're going to pass as a new ordinance for extensions. They'll have extensions and come back, to the community and commission. And even if people are, opposed to the project at the time, most likely it's still passed. Planning Commission, you have the authority to approve with conditions and to deny. I'd like a point of order, a legal ruling on that. That is what it has been, and that's what it always is. I understand for some commissioners, you might be like, he's been doing it for a long time. He's got lots of money. Again, like that diesel truck stop in our beautiful downtown, entrance to Wildomar. This guy went on to say that he's had like 20 of them in LA County, in Orange County. He has lots of money. These developers have lots of money. They know it's the price of doing, business in any city. And, if they get denied, you know what that's called? A write-off. They come in, they make lots of money, and then they leave. And a lot of this stuff is in the detail package. And projects change as they're actually even in real time, going through the development because things come up. I know, I've been involved in it. So I just want to make that clear. And then, if it's like really difficult to say no, you need to know that they can appeal. The developers can appeal, and they can go to planning. They will go to city council. But you guys are our first defense of preserving and protecting Wildomar. And this, what these people are talking about as far as, and I was here, as you all know, at that meeting, what happened when we did the general map plan, we took more and more away from rural residential, and we made it big lots. That's where you can have your animals now, in big lots, 10 acres or more. When we were incorporated, let's go back to, the founders, William, Donald, and Margaret. It was all rural residential. And for all of these over 100 years or whatever it is, we've been trying to preserve that. And again, you guys are our first defense in preserving and protecting Wildomar. So, a lot of times there's not all these people in the seats, but you still have to remember that, right? We want to stay a rural community. We want to try to keep, what the founders had seen and to protect. And before my time runs up, I've said enough about that. But the new development that does come, and I don't know if Planning Commission to do that or council, and I will be going to a city council meeting and addressing it, but we have to stop this zip code change. I was on the incorporation committee. It took us 5 years to become a city. They tried to annex us, the best part of Wildomar, and now they get it for free. All those new homes that's bordering Marietta has a Marietta zip code. We have Lake Elsinore add zip codes here still. This needs to be addressed. And again, I will bring it up to city council again, eventually. They know about it. But you guys are new. I don't know what you can do about it, but maybe you can be part of the solution to solving that problem.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Hey, Gina, real quick, the Shell station you're referring to is the southwest corner of Wildomar Trail? Across from the Kaiser?
Yeah, across from Kaiser.
I don't believe it's a truck stop, is it, Abdul?
Well, it's a diesel truck stop. You can
I have
your
a diesel.
trailers.
I have a diesel truck.
Well, no, it's like you can take your trailers and dump, the sewage in there, and big trucks can go there. There's a car wash there as well.
It's technically an RV fueling station.
It is big enough for that?
For RVs, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Gina.
don't recall it having a dump station either.
So, Mr. Chair, we have Jera. She's already used 6 minutes, but there's something important that she wanted to add. It's up to you if you would like her to talk.
Please, the commission?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Jera, 3 minutes.
If there's anything I pride myself, it's my honesty. I am a very honest person, and I left something very important out. When I said that I thought that they were going to show up, I said that to them when they were there yesterday. And they told me that the reason animal control was there was a discovery on patrol because they thought my donkeys were stuck between my fence and my privacy mesh. They weren't stuck. They like to go in there, and I leave it where they can get in and out of it because they like it. Okay, this was the reason I was told that this all started. And they said that at that point, animal control contacted code enforcement because he questioned whether or not I was even allowed to do what I was doing. So I needed to let you know that. Also, the stray dogs that are leaving do not have licenses at this time. Yes, I have failed to do that. So like I said, I pride myself on my honesty, and it gets me in trouble sometimes, but it is what it is.
Thank you very much for that, and for engaging with our city staff in a way that I'm confident they will assist you in every way possible to solve these problems with you. So thank you.
There are no other comments.
All right, if there are no further public comments, we will move on to approval of the agenda as presented. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Anybody like to move? Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes for February 4th, 2026.
Mr. Chair, I think we're under approval of the agenda,
That's
not
what
the consent item. Two different things.
Right, we're just approving the agenda.
I'll make
Did I
a
miss
motion
something?
to approve the agenda as
Yeah.
presented.
Got it. Thank you.
Retract.
My ears heard that.
I second.
All right. All in favor? Is that approved?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0.
All right, next up, our consent calendar. Are there any items that the commission would like to remove from consent? Motion to approve consent calendar?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I'll make a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, we have no public hearings this meeting. So moving on to general business, we have one item. Item 3.1, this is the Capital Improvement Program General Plan Consistency for fiscal year 2026-27, presented by Cameron Luna, Public Works Engineering Department. Cameron?
Yes, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Wildomar Planning Commission. My name is Cameron Luna. I'm one of the associate engineers assigned with managing the capital projects that occur in the city. So in general, capital projects are set-aside expenditures that differ from our annual operating budget. They're one-time expenditures that are project-based. On an annual basis, the city is required under sections 65401 and 65402 of the California Government Code that we present our capital improvement program for general plan consistency. So as you may recall, in December of 2024, the city adopted a new general plan. On an annual basis, we bring together our list of projects for the upcoming fiscal year to be acknowledged for its conformance with the general plan. And it is a part of our process in preparing our annual budget and our capital improvement program. Heidi, if you could bring up the presentation, or okay, thank you. Yeah, so as mentioned or pictured here is one of our transportation maintenance projects. So on an annual basis, the city has a road rehab and a slurry seal program. This is one of our recently completed in the field segments of streets along Bundy Canyon between Mission Trail and Orange Street. So in total, we have included in the exhibit as part of your resolution is a total of 52 projects, 48 of which are typical deliverable projects in the field that are programmed over 5 fiscal years. And then we have 4 projects under our other category, which are really just a formality of like sort of a cost center to where we can organize certain administrative costs that are pertaining to the capital improvement program. In total, we have 9 categories that comprise the list of projects that the city prepares in its CIP booklet. The largest one is typically roads and transportation. So these are projects which enhance the circulation element for the city or address improvements in the safety element of the general plan. Signals are another subsidiary of the transportation-related projects. They particularly address either safety improvements at existing signals, capacity enhancement at signals, or the installation of new signals within the public right-of-way. Maintenance is projects pertaining to our Public Works division for existing assets. So as I previously mentioned with the road rehab projects that we do, those are publicly maintained roads that have been accepted, and the scheduling of maintaining those assets to limit the depreciation. The next category that we have with our CIP projects are drainage. Sometimes the drainage improvements are related to new infrastructure that is within the roadway, such as storm drain basins or catch basins, curb and gutter. Other projects that would fit under drainage are dedicated facilities and parcels of land, such as a detention basin, which some of you may be familiar with, where we will partner with our regional agencies, such as Riverside County Flood Control, to build these large public structures to help manage and mitigate storm drain runoff. The next category is trails, which again, sometimes there are trail projects that are within the roadway right-of-way, where it could be adjacent to the sidewalk. And then there are trails that are just dedicated for trail uses. They're connections that exist off the roadway. Parks is self-explanatory. The city has a number of parks where we've done land acquisition that we are in the process of trying to convert into usable park spaces and open spaces for the community, as well as anytime we do maintenance or improvements on our existing park sites, that those type of one-time expenditures would fall under that category. The next category is buildings and facilities. So facilities such as our Fire Station 61, which the city operates and maintains under our contract with CAL FIRE, as well as the facility we're in today, City Hall, is publicly owned, and so our ability to maintain the facility and schedule routine items such as you had parked in the back lot, our crack and slurry seal, those become public obligations once you purchase a facility, and so those type of items would fall under that category. And then separately is the cemetery. So the cemetery operates as a specific division underneath the banner of staff. The funds that are received for the cemetery are restricted to be used there. And so it's best that we not commingle cemetery-related improvements, maintenance expenses with the rest of the capital program, but we actually manage it as a separate group. And then lastly, as I'd mentioned, other is a way for our staff to better identify, budget, and allocate expenses related to the capital program. An example of that would be anytime we are working on our engineering standards, standard drawings, our design guidelines, that we have a set annual amount to which we can put towards that expenditure to work on items like that. I'll go to the next slide. And so again, by category, the fiscal year budget includes 52 total projects over the 5 years. So beginning fiscal year 26-27 into fiscal year 30-31, some of which would be the amount that the projects are programmed for in as far as fiscal expenditures range through those 5 years, the majority of which are road transportation projects, drainage projects, and signal projects. But with that being said, we are happy to answer any particular questions as far as the projects that we have listed. The vast majority of the projects are carryover projects, being that we list them for 5 years. Most projects are not expended in 1 year, so they carry over. In this case, 46 of the projects were projects that previously conform to the general plan consistency, but we're happy to answer any particular questions in regards to projects included on that list. So to recap, the action is for the Planning Commission to make the determination that the fiscal year 26-27 capital improvement projects for the 5 years that we presented are consistent with the Wildomar general plan. And so what was provided in the staff report was a list of 3 elements that best coincide with the various projects, and 17 of those policies that were explicitly called out as far as how they best align with the categories that have been presented. That concludes my staff report, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Luna.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just wanted to add to Cameron's thorough presentation, just to, from a high level, talk about your role and drive that point home that Cameron was making. But the CIP plan is council adopted, but as you know, the general plan is the city's land use planning constitution, guides really what you all do here. And so state law requires that that council adopted CIP program be reviewed by you all to see if, as a whole, is it consistent with this land use constitution, in other words, the general plan. And so Cameron was noting how he's connected the dots between the program and consistency in the staff report to various land use goals and policies. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you for that important point. Are there any questions from the DS?
Yeah, to that point, with City Council handling those priorities and the projected funding, this is one of the something that I did discuss with Jason and Robert a little earlier. What is the priority order for this project list, even if the rank is not part of tonight's action?
Yeah, good evening, Commissioner. The projects in the program aren't necessarily prioritized in a specific order. There's not like a 1 through 52 ranking. There are some projects that are a higher priority just by nature of the project. So a good example of that would be our major road widening projects like Bundy Canyon Road, Clinton Keith Road widening. Those are some of our key or priority projects, and the goals for the year that the City Council adopted indicated delivering on key CIP projects. And so those are some of the projects that we would consider as key, where we have construction funding or grant funding that commits us to delivering the project. It's maybe a more regional impactful project. Priority may be driven by need if we have a traffic issue or a congestion issue. So there are a variety of things that may drive the priority of a project. Often that direction typically comes from City Council to staff with respect to focusing our efforts and moving this project forward maybe on a faster schedule. So just in short, there's not an explicit ranking, but I think we would categorize some of the key projects as the larger projects that the community is familiar with, that the staff have been working on over the last few years: Bundy Canyon widening, Clinton Keith widening. A couple other notes I want to make. The City Council did earlier this year provide a prioritization on some of our key projects. So not on the entire list of projects, but on some of the key projects. And so as an example, Bundy Canyon Road widening segment 2 was prioritized as the kind of foremost priority project for road widening, followed by the Clinton Keith Road widening. Our interchange improvements that we have been working on were a little bit further down on the priority list. The driving factor for that prioritization really comes down to funding availability. There's only so much funding available to go around all of those projects, and so we can't execute them all concurrently. So there was a direction given for some of those key project prioritizations. And then the last thing I want to point out that both the Commission and the public will see when we bring the full CIP program to the City Council in June for adoption, each project will have a detail sheet with a budget. That budget is itemized by fiscal year, and so that'll be an indication to the public as to when, staff anticipates working on a phase of a project in a given year. So when construction is budgeted is when we're anticipating we might be able to get to construction. So that may also help just guide the public in terms of identifying what the general priority and schedules are.
Got it. Yeah, that'd be very helpful. Thank you.
I don't have any real deep questions. Since we were talking about, actually, I think Cam may be better up on this one, but do we know what the schedule on that the Ann Sullivan Park, or the property that they had donated, the nature park? Jason?
Yeah. So we've been working on that progressively. It has taken us a little bit longer than we originally hoped to get the park open. We are actually meeting internally to kind of go over that project schedule. So I don't have a precise date to give right now, and I don't want to give an inaccurate date. But that is something we're working on updating to have that information available soon as we look to get that executed.
Great, thanks.
No questions here.
Some agencies include things like IT systems, like major IT systems, Muni Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. Would those be included in the CIP going forward, were we to do a project like that?
So it's not currently included in the CIP, and the city, we don't have an in-house IT department. We do contract that service out. So as of yet, that hasn't been identified as a CIP. It may, that's not to say it can't be in the future. We haven't identified any large-scale IT projects. So currently, everything that happens on the IT level kind of falls under just the IT budget, but isn't designated as a formal capital project yet.
All right, there's a recommendation before this commission.
Mr. Chair, before we go ahead, there are no public comments.
Thank you. Commission discussion?
Cutting right. Alex, what do you got? Well, there's one thing I did kind of bring up on the side with one of these CIP project numbers. When going over the project list, Project 105, the install edge lines citywide, it has a duplicate CIP number. So if it's possible for us to get a correction on the transportation roads CIP number 105, and then the CIP number 105 under transportation signals, pedestrian crossing enhancements. I think if we're going to move forward with approving this item, it should be clean. Each one should have its own CIP number. I think I don't really have any major qualms with I think everything is pretty much in line, but I think that we need to make that correction on my end.
Is there any reason they do have the same?
Yeah. So that was a mistake. We apologize for that. The CIP 105 installing edge lines citywide is the correct CIP. The other CIP 105, which was pedestrian crossing enhancements, is in error and can be deleted. And I don't know if we would just need to read that into the record.
What you can do is amend the motion to adopt with the changes as noted by Director Farag.
Got it.
That duplicate was the pedestrian crossings?
That is, that's correct. Yeah, and my interest was specifically when I was asking about that, I was wondering if they were tied, they were integrated with one another, or they were just separate. So that's where originally the inquiry came from. So, but thank you for clarifying, Jason. I really appreciate it. I think one of the things that I wanted to point out, and it's written on our agenda in the front, right? City of Wildomar will be a safe and active community with responsible growth and quality infrastructure while keeping a hometown feel. I think what the general plan does is it's the purpose of it is supposed to be for that specific reason. The staff report itself says categories including planning, environmental review, engineering, and all that stuff, which means the list includes different projects at different stages of its maturity, right? So what I think one of the things that Jason had mentioned, that you guys would provide more outlook of where each project is, and I think that's going to be important, because here when we're looking at this in front of us, it's not more of a project by project matrix where it includes what closes the specific sidewalk gaps, spike gaps, rural safety issues, flood problems, and pavement deficiencies across the city. I think it would be important for us to know where we are at in the phase of each project, regardless of whether we're not the ones that are approving the funding, or we're approving the priority on that level. When we do see this come forth to the commission, I think it's transparency, right? So part of the reason why a lot of the people that are here today is they want to see the transparency. They want to see that we're open to sharing a lot of the information that's being put forth in front of us. So I think you guys, you're already going to do it. You're already doing it on your side from what you had mentioned earlier. So if anything, that's my points of my discussion on my end.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would you envision some sort of like a web portal that you can look at a Gantt chart?
Yeah,
where are we?
Yeah. That'd be great.
Chair, if I may add a comment on that, just for the public's sake, we do every time our CIP program is adopted, we do post the adopted program on the city website, which includes those detail sheets with the project description, the project budgets. So that is currently available for last fiscal year's program, which includes all of the carryover projects, with the exception of the one new streetlight project that's been added this year. And once that is adopted, we will also add that new booklet to the website for the public to view as well. Thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. I had one last note. Should we cut this off? There was a word in the agenda, consistency, and it was used, and I want to just point that out, that consistency cannot mean a one size fits all urban cross section on every road. Obviously, there was a note about us crafting everything carefully per neighborhood, right? So I think that's consistency. We can't just make it all cookie cutter. We have to look at it in a way that fits that neighborhood, that area. So I just wanted to point that out when it comes to consistency. Yeah, I agree with that.
Additional discussion?
I mean, from everything I can see, it looks consistent with the general plan, and there may be discussions about, how best to accomplish the general plan's goals, but that's not here. I don't see anything that actually disagrees with the general plan, so.
All 455 pages?
It's 456.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Vice Chair? You good? I'm good. So we have a recommendation.
So, Chair King, I'm sorry about that. We have one public comment, if you can accept that.
Absolutely.
George Gambero.
I'm glad you could make it, George.
I just want to make sure that you hear my voice.
Thank you.
Number one, I do, agree with all of the comments, but I just want to make one minor comment. I think is having the 5-year CIP list is great, and I just want to give you my 2 cents, just for creative financing, and we're talking about the 27 acre park that then I also was looking at. For future is fire station number 2. Is that correct? I'm just saying, hey, since we don't, since our police, the sheriff, we don't have a station, And since you're going to be building a new fire station, since we contract with the county, use the county, the 2 contracts that we have, and if we can, if we can build the fire station and the police station at the 27-acre park. Just an idea. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campero.
Thank you.
I don't know the ins and outs of that. Sure, there's quite a few.
Keeping track of one capital improvement project is a big lift. Herding several over several years is impressive. So thank you for the work that you do and keeping those straight. That's very excellent work. So we have a recommendation before the dais with an edit.
For CIP 105.
Do you have that motion?
Which was
The 105.
crossings.
So I move to adopt PC resolution number 2026-06 and direct staff, and clarify any Exhibit 1 numbering ambiguity, including the duplicate CIP number 105.
I'll second that motion.
Vice Chair Golden? Chair King?
Aye.
Commissioner Canberra?
Aye.
Commissioner Filar?
Aye.
Commissioner Yum?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Planning Commission communications. Does any member of this board have a statement, communication they'd like to share?
No real communication. I wanted to ask Jason about an update for the restriping on Wildomar Trail and the 15.
Sorry, the update was for which item?
Not an item. It's the restriping of the stop sign on Wildomar Trail, and
Maybe if it's within this body's jurisdiction, we could put on a future agenda for an update.
Yeah, we can. And it was also included in the list of projects in the CIP as well.
does it have a timeline on it at all?
I'm comfortable with that being the case. If you want to just give a brief update, that would be fine.
We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah. Just a brief update. It is included in the 5-year CIP. We did just make a resubmittal to Caltrans recently to restripe and redo some of the pavement on that section. So we're just waiting to hear back with any Caltrans comments or approval, and looking to move it forward as quickly thereafter.
Is that, if you were going to shoot from the hip there, is that a 3-month, 6-month?
We're hoping to be able to do it within the 3 months, but I want to just caveat that it is with Caltrans, and so we can't guarantee that a certain time frame because it's outside of our control.
Good. Thanks.
Just general communications. I know there's been a lot of talk on social media lately about things that are coming through the Planning Commission's agendas and different things about the development code. And I want everybody to know that we do hear you. We're just not allowed to respond because of state law. So if you don't see anybody jumping in on comment threads, social media, it's not because we don't necessarily want to. It's because there's quite a few rules about what we can and can't say and where we can and can't say it. And the general gist of it is that we're supposed to keep what we say about different items to this setting. And so in light of that, we're always grateful when people show up because there's a lot of things to talk about, and we are thankful for you sharing your voices, and the city council as well for the city council meetings because there's so many details about what we can and can't say and where we can and can't say it. So I just wanted to clear the air a little bit on that. We're not trying to be distant or unconcerned with things that people are talking about, but we are also trying to not commit felonies.
I got one other real quick one for staff. The animal setbacks that Ms. Keegan spoke on earlier, are those in effect already from the general plan, or because that was the issue we were?
So I will say that the existing animal keeping setbacks, some of what was said earlier is existing in our municipal code. I believe there was a comment about a 50-foot setback, which may no longer be in effect. That was part of the past code before it got amended. But some of those, including the 100-foot setback from the street and the 20-foot setback from property lines, those are in existence.
And what authority do we have to put changes forth?
By authority, do you mean to initiate some type of change? I will say that, in light of, recent activity and items that were brought forward, staff is already looking at that, and we're looking at what best way we can address some of the concerns and also incorporate community feedback and possibly even have some type of community engagement to capture some of the requests and some of the changes and some of the thoughts and feelings that we've heard. So it's already in process, I would say, so there's no need to initiate anything, and we'll bring that forward if we do to make any necessary changes in the near future.
And that's all stemming from the meeting what we discussed 2 weeks ago?
Stemming from what we put forward recently and what we've heard as well.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody that's here today. More than anything, it's important to have community engagement. It's like Robert's saying with the animal setbacks, while it was an unfortunate topic to go over, it was something that was necessary to start bringing everybody together and bring forth the right attention to the right areas. So more than anything, from my end, I just want to thank each and every one that's here. Previously, in previous years, there was maybe 1 to 5 people at Planning Commission meetings, so they're very lackluster to a certain extent. But having more people engaged and caring about the community, we're here, we're with you guys. We're actually here at this dais because we care about the community. And I couldn't say it any better for what John had mentioned as to what we're allowed to say, how we're allowed to engage. But at the same time, the reason why we are here is for those specific reasons, and we're here to represent each and every one of you guys that same way. So that's my 2 cents on this, and I hope you guys all feel the same way.
Can't reiterate any more that's already been said already, because I feel the exact same way. We are here to hear your voices and get your concerns out to the City Council and best support you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just one item. Few things make me happier than snacks. Thank you, Commissioner Hume, for the delicious cookies at the back. If you didn't get one and there's any left, please try them.
Baked them myself.
That's news.
All right, moving on. Do we have a Community Development Director's report?
Mr. Chair, I do not have a report today.
Yeah, I mean, if you're okay. Or you can ask Joaquin if it's okay to, I think we can do that.
Mr. Chair, we do have another public comment. It's your choice whether you'd like to go back to that section and take it, or.
Is it the pleasure of the commission to step back a few items?
I am more than happy
public comment. Is this public comment on an agenda item, or?
It is, no, it's a public comment on a non-agenda item.
Great. I think we can do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Stephanie?
Thank you, Nolan. I've lived in this area for like 36 years, and I'm listening to you guys, and I get nervous in front of people, but I just feel like I've talked to Robert before in code enforcement, but I live off of La Estrella, where it dead ends over here in Ashley's district, and there's a business on our dirt road, single lane dirt road, and we get anywhere from 300 to 600 people summertime, higher than that, at that business, which is 25765 La Estrella Road. And 4 years I've been listening to a rooster, which is like, I love nature, but that road is a dead-end road, the highest fire area in Wildomar. And I don't understand why either the road hasn't gone through in the back or somebody has fixed this problem. I know you can't comment, but I would just like it to be taken care of before summer hits and a fire starts. And then all these people, a lot of them are children that are at this baseball academy, and how are they going to get out? So, I lived there and built my house 20 years ago, and it was a very quiet area, and it's no longer that. There's so much traffic.
Thank you for your comment. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, jumping back, do we have a city attorney's report?
That would be Ashley's.
Not today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think we had one future agenda item requested regarding, nope, we decided that wasn't a future agenda item.
got it, yeah.
Do we have any future agenda items?
No. No.
Right. It seems I've run out of agenda. Next up, move that we adjourn this meeting of the Planning Commission at 6:57 p.m. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah. Did we go through city manager reports and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, we did that too. That was fast.
Yep.
All right.
There it is.